Yo, although I'm a man, I thought so highly of females I would have loved to be a girl. In my formative years, I took the rhyme, girls are made of sugar, spice, and everything nice, and boys from undesirable elements to heart. Childbearing would be fantastic too, sharing in God's creative power by producing life. Remember this personal and forthright reveal while hearing my seemingly paradoxical discourse. People cannot physically be both female and male or half male, half female, including those with obliquitous chromosomes or body configurations. Unusual cases of pseudo-hermaphrodites, though hard to categorize, are only one of three: males, females, or neuter, a biological fact. Stating everyone has both male and female hormones, more accurately estrogens and androgens, is deceptive. Women produce 10 times the estrogen as androgen, and men's estrogen-androgen ratios are women's reverse. People do not produce 50-50 ratios. Chemical ratios are paramount. A gallon of red paint into 10 gallons of blue is still blue. A gallon of blue into 10 gallons of red is still red. Nitrogen is required to live, but too much nitrogen causes death. True hermaphrodites who could both sire a child and become pregnant are non-existent in humans. Pseudo-hermaphrodites never produce large amounts of estrogen and androgen, only large amounts of one or low amounts of both. Some people take androgens or estrogens for medicinal purposes, but their body won't maintain the resulting hormone ratio if they stop treatment. Although some people allegedly were the opposite sex in a past life, reincarnation is unsubstantiated. Supposedly, having been a member of the opposite sex may be a nuanced expression of transgender ideation. Rather, gender determinants are unambiguous and fixed throughout every person's physical existence. Environmental conditioning only plays a small part. The differences are primarily biological. Books, The Male Brain and the Female Brain clarify these differences. In fact, scientists discovered over 6,500 genetic differences between men and women. Feminine, by definition, is passive, nurturing, and pliant. Masculine is assertive, focused, and unyielding. Natural masculinity and femininity are necessarily interactive, inseparable, and inalterable. These blatant and universal binary principles form the cornerstone of Asian philosophy from antiquity. This yin-yang principle, represented by the taijutsu, seems to appear on South Korean flags, whose symbol has only a slight difference in meaning. They both indicate the concept of dualism, where the universe is comprised of active and receptive principles, which are interdependent. Female maleness can also be defined as receptivity, and maleness as externality, moving out to affect the environment. Women can be likened to beautiful flowers and men to gardeners. Neither are like Pat from the Saturday Night Live skits. Specialist Dr. So debunks the non-binary movement. Besides the male-female binary, life itself is a binary. Oceans, continents, plants, animals, day-night, fire-ice, life-death, wet-dry, pregnant, not pregnant, front-back, in-out, eaten, uneaten, on-off, open-closed, sender-receiver, stop-go, action-reaction, questions-answers, even-odd, motion equals either towards or away, turning equals clockwise or counterclockwise, and space or substance. There are numerous other binaries, such as up-down, which do have a spectrum, yet still have only two distinct and opposite goals. We are constantly surrounded by binaries, which are indispensable elements of life. Feminism does not mean being feminine, as the word hello is unrelated to hell. Feminism is supporting women's equal rights. Sometimes feminists assert that women are superior to men in certain respects and therefore deserve every male privilege without men's responsibilities. Besides, many men are disenfranchised. They lack basic relationships and privileges and are simply struggling to preserve their own dignity in a harsh world. Those with social dysfunction cannot afford to be sniped at by contrary agendas. So for those who have a disconnect here, step into another world. I shall explain this subject as thoroughly as possible in my allotted space while being completely honest. This consists of doing my best to determine the truth concerning the proper relationship of women to other people from what has been revealed by science, biology, behavioral studies, history, logic, and theology. Despite men's authority over women throughout history, regardless of culture, women today are outraged if that idea is even suggested. Instead of politely addressing perceived unfairness, hostility often dominates. In movies, female main characters triumph over male enemies, women are smart and men are stupid, and women beat up men in fights. A famous cult movie shows viewers a distorted alternate universe where the entire male world conspires against two female protagonists who drive off a cliff into oblivion to escape it. Hateful paraphernalia exists, such as t-shirts declaring the fastest way to men's hearts is through their chest with a heart and bloody dagger. Authoress and journalist Natalie Angier's New York Times article begins, "The most persistent and frustrating problem in evolutionary biology is the male. Specifically, why doesn't he just go away?" Imagine men saying these things about women. Also, I want to see a man beaten to a bloody pulp with a high heel shoved in his mouth, like an apple in the mouth of a pig. Andrea Dworkin. Man-hating is an honorable and viable political act that the oppressed have a right to class hatred against the class that oppresses them. Robin Morgan. The subject of gender arose in grade school. I simply reiterated the class dictionary definition of women, the weaker sex. The teacher loudly and abruptly reprimanded me before all, so I shut up. I suppose that teacher knew better than the Apostle Peter, who referred to women as the weaker vessel. 1 Peter 3:7. Since Jesus Christ appointed Peter as chief apostle, should Jesus have shut up to not impede that teacher's belligerence? Rhetorical question. In the book Undateable, men do 311 things that guarantee they won't be dating, including not paying the entire restaurant tab. So feminism says that women should dictate what men should or should not do, while men have no input on decisions women make about themselves. Women's demands might forever increase while their concessions forever decrease. Even devoutly religious women have exuded contemptuous ferocity. The largest nuns organization in America badmouthed their bishops and defied church teaching. Quoting one nun who, after being asked why the Pope didn't allow women's ordination, responded, "Because he's a chauvinist, sexist slob." Actually, Satanism is about interchangeable gender roles and sometimes female dominance.